You remember the five forces? Hmm? I'm sure you guys remember the five forces, right? Oh, so I hope. So this is the fifth force, and you can say the most important force, right? Uh, because it decides the attractiveness of the industry, right? If the industry is too competitive, cutthroat competition, as we say, then you would think twice. Actually, you would think like 10 times before entering the industry, right? So, uh, that is why it's important to study competitive rivalry. So we can measure competitive, how competitive the industry is through various measures like profitability and what are the measures can you think of to measure the competitiveness of the industry?
Customer satisfaction in the industry.
Customer satisfaction. First of all, it's very hard to measure that. Very hard to quantify, I mean, right?
Uh, the amount of companies within the industry.
The number of companies, yes. Whether it's a monopoly, duopoly, oligopoly, or perfect competition. Yeah, that could be a measure. Yes, or
Yeah,
we
I
can
think
say,
like a market
yeah,
position,
market
like
position.
a
Did you say?
yeah, like a market share of the whole industry. Kind of
Right.
like
Yes, yes. Market share is a good measure. Yes. Actually, I would say that is one of the best measures to measure the competitiveness. Right. Revenues or profit revenues, sales. That could be one measure. Yeah, so all these factors decide how competitive the industry is. And do you guys remember multi-market competition or multi-point competition? I think I mentioned it last week. Uh, multi-market or multi-point competition both mean the same thing, which means that the firms are competing with each other in one than more points. Sorry, more than 1 point. More than 1 point means either multiple product market, multiple product segments, or multiple geographic segments or geography markets, right? So Pepsi and Coca-Cola are competing against each other not just in US but in so many other countries, and they are competing with each other not just in soda, a cold drink, but uh, other products as well, right? So that is basically multi-market or multi-point competition. Then comparator analysis. We did study this, I think, last week. Comparator analysis while studying external environment analysis, right? And we saw that we have to read competitors' behavior and then predict the competitors' behavior. And knowing about competitors should only be through legal means. We saw the Disney example, right? Remember the Disney example? And if you are not aware of competitors' strengths and competitors, you know, strategy, then that is called competitive blind spot. Like, for example, Google was unaware of OpenAI's launch of ChatGPT, right? It was a sudden surprise for everyone. And that is why we have board of directors who bring their expertise and knowledge to help us avoid competitive blind spot and give us an idea what our competitors are doing. So what is board of directors? How do they do that? We will see that when we reach corporate governance chapter. And some of you might already be familiar. You must have studied it in some of the previous courses at RBS. Now, some basic terms. So let us see it this way. This way, I think it would be easier to visualize. So we have uh, competitive action and competitive response. And competitive action and competitive response are of two types: strategic and tactical. Okay. Strategic and tactical. What is the difference? So, strategic, you take a competitive action or you can respond competitively in two ways, either strategically or tactically. What is a strategic action or response? Like, like partnering with another firm or entering a new geographic or product market. Now, strategic action or strategic response would require a lot of time and money. If you are going to enter a new geographic market, it would require a lot of resources, a lot of capital, a lot of planning. And once you have done that, it's not easy to undo it. You cannot overnight leave a market, or you cannot overnight decide to, uh, you know, recall the product that you had launched, right? Tactical responses, which requires fewer resources and relatively easy to implement and reverse, like price matching. So if you decide to reduce or increase the price of a product, you can do it just like that, like, uh, does not require a lot of time or energy. You can do it overnight as well. And you can do it as a response as well. If your competitor has done it, so you can respond in tactical way that you could also reduce or increase the price, right? So action is when you do it first, and response is when you are doing it in response to a competitor's action, right? And both of them can be of two types, either strategic or tactical, right? Examples. So, like Cigna Corp successfully merged with Express Scripts Holding Company, and they formed a bigger firm. Why did they do it? It was a response, strategic response. So, merger requires a lot of capital, a lot of planning. Sometimes merger and acquisition go on for years, like from the date you announce. So, like for example, Netflix thing, it can go on for years. Merger might happen or acquisition might happen 8 years later or 10 years later. It can even take that much time. Sometimes they don't even get completed, they are aborted, right? So it's a strategic, it's not tactical, it's strategic. And it was a response to what? To CVS acquiring Atna, right? So that is an example of strategic action response. What is an example of tactical action or response? Like Walmart changing some of its products prices, or Amazon reducing the price. You all know, right? Amazon acquired Whole Foods, right? So Amazon reducing the price is a tactical action. Drivers of competitive behavior: awareness. First of all, we should be aware that how much do we have overlap with our competitors and what is the strength of our firm as well as our competitors' firm. Okay, so that we know the consequences of our actions. If we take a strategic or tactical action, what would be the consequence? What would be the backlash? Not backlash, what would be the response of the competitor? That should be our awareness, right? Then motivation. Motivation is, oh, okay, if Pepsi decides to reduce its price in Brazil, what would be the motivation for Coca-Cola to respond? Coca-Cola would respond if Brazil is an important market for Coca-Cola. But if Pepsi does that in Papua New Guinea or some small country, which is not a major market, a major source of revenue for Coca-Cola, then Coca-Cola might not even respond because, maybe that market is not that important for it. So we should know the motivation as well. And ability, that even if it has the motivation to respond, would it respond? Would it be able to respond? Maybe they cannot afford to bring down their price. Maybe the competitor or rival cannot afford to bring down the price. So even if you do that, they may not respond. Right? Then non-market strategies. What are non-market strategies? So whatever we are discussing till now is all market strategies, that you launch a new product, or you reduce the price and increase the price, merger, acquisition, everything is market. What is non-market? Non-market is like lobbying. Lobbying is a non-market strategy. Making donations to political candidates is a non-market strategy. Using social media to influence public opinion is a non-market strategy. So everything that you do to establish the rules of the game, to influence the regulation, influence the perception through non-market ways, are all non-market strategies. I use this term institutional environment a lot when I was explaining the story of why we find business groups a lot in developing nations, Asian countries, and Latin American countries. You remember, right? I use this term a lot. Institutional environment. Institutional environment is like, um, banking and all, or government institutions, regulatory institutions and all. So that is what is institutional environment, to influence them through lobbying or making donations or using social media and all. All that is non-market strategy. So when we try to analyze our competitors, we need to ask these questions: that is the competitor satisfied with this current position? So the example that I was giving, that Coca-Cola might decide not to respond in Papua New Guinea, or some smaller country, because it might be satisfied with this current position. It does not feel the motivation to respond. What likely moves or strategy shifts will the competitor make? Where is the competitor vulnerable? What will provoke the greatest retaliation by the competitor? So let us take the example of Google. I have been thinking of discussing this in the last few lectures, but I kept forgetting everything. So Google was enjoying supremacy, monopoly for the longest period of time, for more than 20 years, right? There was no strong competitor to Google in search engine, at least, right? Then what happened that provoked the greatest retaliation by the competitor, by Google, was when OpenAI came up with ChatGPT. Google was forced to immediately come up with Bard, now called Gemini, right? It had a lot of defects initially, right? So, why do you think Google did not come up with something like ChatGPT? Do you think Google could not have come up with something like ChatGPT? Google did not have the resources, the capabilities. Does Google not have the best brains in the world?
There was no motivation.
There was no more. Who is it? Is it James?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think so. No motivation, but I mean, Google was working on AI, wasn't it? Okay, let us think it this way. Who was affected the most by the launch of ChatGPT? Negatively affected. Google, right? So if Google would have come up with ChatGPT, whose business would it have eaten the most? Google's own business?
I think they were not aware of it. It wasn't that they didn't, they had the
Maybe,
capability of doing it, but they didn't expect it to happen.
maybe that could also be a possibility. I mean, we would never know whether they knew about it, whether they deliberately did not come up with it, or they did not know about it. Whether I mean, whether it was ignorance or it was a deliberate step. But you know about SEO? Have you heard the term SEO, search engine optimization? What is it?
I think it's I think search engine optimization um is it when you put in like when you search something up in Google like um whichever like the top result is that has to do with search engine optimization, I think.
Yes, yes, you are correct. You are correct. So basically, the ranking of the results, how they are ranked, right? The ranking of the web pages, that is search engine optimization. And Google says that it does not sell those ranks. It's called page rank algorithm. That's a very complex method of how they rank it. We don't need to go into the details, but Google says that the rankings are based on the relevance to the search term, the term that you type in. Whichever pages have the most relevant content, that they would be ranked on the top, right? So Google does not sell that. Google says that it does not sell those ranks. That is completely, you know, based on relevance, completely unsold. But it does earn revenue through ads, and we will see how it earns those revenues. So basically, Google, it would have self cannibalized, self cannibalize. It would have eaten into its own business. So there was this dilemma whether, in case they knew about it, in case they had developed an AI engine, it would have still, eaten into their own business, right? So how does Google earn revenue through the search? Do you have the idea? Like, does anybody know how Google actually earns through search results?
Well, mostly through advertising. So like pages would advertise to get themselves at the top of the page rank.
Right, right. So that is AdWords, right? AdWords and AdSense. So what are AdWords and AdSense? So this is AdWords. So if I type in editing, it shows sponsored results. So Grammarly, Canva, Fiverr, these are AdWords. They pay money to be shown on the top. And below that, Canva, Adobe, Riverside, and all, these are all unpaid. And Google says that they are ranked according to the relevance. So AdWords is the first way how Google earns money. So it happens through bidding. So Google would advertise that bidding is open for the word or for the search term editing. And if I want my website to be shown in the sponsored results, I would bid that. If editing word is someone types editing, I should my website should be in the top 5 results, and I can bid, like $1 million, $2 million, whatever the range is. I have no idea what the range is. So it goes to the highest bidders. Okay, and similarly, combination of terms as well, and it all depends on your target audience, as in you want to target a certain country, you want to target a certain time of the day. All those things, all those permutations and combinations are available in the bidding. So this is the first way. And AdSense is this: when we open a website, we see ads, right? So these AdSense to place the ads also, that is one way. Both website as well as Google both earn money through this. So AOL will also get money because if AOL gets more traffic, then uh, people would want their advertisements to be shown on that particular website, and also Google, because people generally go to AOL through Google, right? So this was ad words and AdSense, right? And if you have a YouTube channel, does anybody have a YouTube channel? This classroom, no content creators, or you create content on TikTok, not YouTube. Huh? So, so if you have a YouTube channel, you can actually use both Google Ads and Google AdSense. How? If you want to promote your YouTube channel, then you would want your YouTube channel or your videos to be shown on other videos. We get the suggested videos, right? We see suggested videos on the right hand side, on laptop at least, right? So you
Mhm.
can pay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Somebody wanted to say something. Yeah. So you can pay Google to show your ad um, through Google Ads, and you can also earn money through Google AdSense if you are a publisher. So if your channel becomes popular and people want their videos to be shown on popular channels as advertisements or in suggested videos, then you can earn money as well. So both of the ways you can use if you have a YouTube channel. So basically, this was how uh, Google earns money. So yeah, I mean, now because of Chat GPT, people don't need to scroll through multiple websites or multiple links. So people don't click on websites. So Google AdSense, at least, revenue will go down. If I'm using ChatGPT, I know that in some time ChatGPT will also start having ads and all. I know that would come, that would happen one day. But as of now, uh, ChatGPT is diverting or reducing the traffic of Google, and hence the revenue of Google, right? So that could have been one reason. I mean, it's just a guess. We don't know that one reason why Google would have hesitated in launching such an AI search engine, right? Then more examples of strategic response. So if Amazon acquired Whole Foods, that is, Amazon is moving from online to offline offline model, then Kroger's will have to take some decision. It will have to respond, and it would be a strategic response. And what is Kroger's doing for the its strategic response? It is focusing more on online competition. Basically, if Amazon is moving to Kroger's, um, segment of physical retail stores, then Kroger's is deciding to move more and more towards to Amazon's segment, which is online mode, by focusing more on e-commerce options and increasing the number of its storefront locations where customers can online groceries they ordered collect groceries they ordered online, becoming more omni-channel, investing in technology and infrastructure, and evaluating acquisitions, right? So such kinds of retaliation they keep happening to and fro, right? Market commonality. So the motivation and ability to respond will also depend on market commonality. So we know, multi-market competition or multi-point competition. There are so many firms who are competing against each other in multiple markets. So most of the automobile firms, they are present in so many countries. So they are competing against each other in more than one markets. Uh, and it would also depend on resource similarity as well. That if you are using the similar kind of resources, then you would have more overlap of competition, because sometimes the firms are not direct competitors, sometimes they are indirect competitors as well, right? And how much you are directly competing with each other would depend on your market commonality and resource similarity. So if you have low resource similarity and low market commonality, then you are not directly competing with each other, you are indirectly competing. Like Google and Amazon, are they direct competitors or indirect competitors, or are they competitors at all or not?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? So is this Robert or Ethan?
Me, Ethan.
Ethan. Okay. Robert, you also wanted to say something? Yeah.
But yeah, I think that they're competitors in the cloud space. Because like Amazon has like the AWS like cloud servers, and Google has its own, and that's probably their only like overlap, even though their like main market isn't that, like Amazon's more retail focused, I believe.
I agree with
Mhm.
that. It's actually a good point. But they can also be partners as well. Like if you Google something, then or if you like search out on Amazon like a certain product, it's gonna show up on like your Google advertisements and like they kind of share data. But like I also agree with the
Mm,
other point.
mm. Yeah, good points. Yeah, I also uh, felt the same. I also used to think the same way until I found that Amazon is like second or third in online searches. Like people, so like when I have to search something, say, um, which is the best shoe for sports shoes. Okay, I would go to Google. But in searching something, online searches, Amazon is second or third in the world after Google, and I guess I think there might be something else second, some other maybe Bing or I don't know. Because whenever people have to search about a product, so if I have to search about something like information, and what is the capital of Nigeria or something, then I would go to Google. But if I have to search about a product, then people generally directly go to Amazon rather than Google, right? So Amazon gets a lot of that traffic, and even Amazon did not realize that for a very long time, that it can monetize, uh, you know, by showing ads on Amazon, the website and all. And it started that only in, I guess, 2018 or something. For many years, it did not pay attention to the revenues through searches or advertisements. I mean, someone might not buy something by going on Amazon, but still they landed on the website so they can see some ads, right? So Amazon can get a very big revenue through advertisements as well, right? So that was an ignored market uh, by Amazon for a long time. So that way they are indirectly competing. Yeah, of course, they are not direct competitors, of course. But yeah, as you guys said, cloud service and all, and this search thing, online search as well. So yeah, your rivalry depends on market commonality and resource similarity, and your response would depend on uh, two things: that how your rival is innovating. So your rival can innovate through two ways: either product innovation, that is by improving the product, basically, right? Introducing something new in the product, or through process innovation, that they are producing the same product, but they improved something in the process, and that is how they cut the cost. So either there could be product innovation or there could be process innovation, both the innovation. And if your competitor does either of the two, either one of the two, then you will feel the pressure to do likewise, so that you can remain competitive, right? Then competitive rivalry, likelihood of attack. So first mover benefits, we have heard these terms, first mover advantage, early bird offers, and all. So what are the benefits of being the first mover in an industry? Uh, you can get above average returns until competitors respond. So if there is no other competitor in the industry, you can enjoy the whole market, all the revenues coming to you, all the profit. You can actually, you're kind of monopoly, right? You can charge anything you want, and you can gain loyalty of the customers. But could there be some downsides as well? Well, if the product is not liked by the customers, then you will have to face all the losses as well. And you will have to invest in building the infrastructure and awareness about the product, because the product is new. People are not familiar with the product. So you will have to spend all on the awareness, right? Especially in fast cycle markets, where you know that the second mover would come very soon. You cannot enjoy monopoly for a very long time. The second mover would very soon enter. So, in that market, you will have to maximize the revenue in the shortest period of time. And also, you set the standards in the industry, you set the expectations in the industry, because people would compare the second mover or the second entrant with the first mover, because they have no other point of reference, right? They have nothing else to compare with. The only comparison could be with the first mover. So you will set the datum or standard to assess new entrants of the quality of the first, that will be set by the first mover, right? Second movers, do they have some advantage? Or they have a lot of advantages. They can learn from the mistakes of the first mover, right? And they are not very late as well. They are second movers, so they can gain a lot of market share as well, because duopoly is better than oligopoly or perfect competition, right? What about late movers? Well, better late than never, right? So at least enter the industry. But if you are late mover, if there are already some competitors in the industry, then why would people choose you? So you will have to differentiate yourself in some way. When people already have seven options, if you are eighth mover, then you will have to set yourself apart in some way. Otherwise, why would people choose you? Right? And Slack. Have you heard this term before? Slack? Where? Do we use this in our day-to-day life? Anyway, in any sense? No? You don't use cut some slack? Idiom or a phrase? What does that mean? Cut some slack. That also means like give some buffer, right? Give some cushion to the person, right? So the same way, slack means access resources, the buffer. Like yeah, like Apple could spend the money on that car experiment because it has slack. It can afford to set 15 engineers apart just for working on working on an experiment. Like, don't do anything else. Just try something new. Try something innovative. Right? That is slack. That access resources could be in the form of people or in the form of money as well, or some instruments or something, whatever. And Slack allows firms to be the first movers because only then they can experiment, right? And it has been observed that small firms who have Slack are often more able to use Slack properly. Like they are able to use Slack in a better way or, to more advantage than big firms. Why? Because they have less bureaucracy, so they can have faster decision making. So that is why small firms are able to Slack better than big firms. Then likelihood of response. So um, strategic action is generally responded by strategic response, and tactical action would be generally responded by tactical response, right? And the response would also depend on actor's reputation. So if Apple has to respond, so if Samsung does something, Samsung takes some important step, then there is high likelihood that Apple would give it attention. Apple would, seriously think about it, and Apple would respond. But if it's some small firm like, you know, there's the firms like Macromax and Lava in India, which are local firms like Indian firms, and they are not that big players in international market. If they take some action, then uh, Apple would not pay attention. Apple might not, respond, not give it a serious thought. So actors' reputation also matters, right? I'm just checking who is absent today. So Jay is absent and Jackson is absent again. I'll have to email him. Why is he not attending classes? And none of them have informed me. Okay. Then market dependence, of course, would also matter in likelihood of response. That the example that I was giving. Just a second. Yeah. Like if how much you are dependent on the market. So if Coca-Cola is not dependent much on a small market, if it's not a very important source of revenue or profits for Coca-Cola, then it may not respond. So like in Peru, I went to Peru in July. So uh, there are some local firms which are very popular. Like there is a firm called Inca Cola. They sell drinks here as well in US as well, right? So if say Inca Cola takes some action, strategic action, but if Coca-Cola, if Peru is not an important market for Coca-Cola, then it might not respond. It might not have the motivation to respond, right? So market dependence also plays a role. Then types of markets: slow cycle markets, fast cycle markets. So slow cycle markets, where do you generally see slow cycle markets? And where do you generally see fast cycle markets? So fast cycle markets are basically the markets or industries which are very fast moving, um, where innovations and new product launches happen very often, very quickly. So what could be some examples that you can think of slow cycle markets and fast cycle markets?
I think fast cycle would be like electronics, like phones, cell phones.
Definitely, definitely. That would be like the first thing to come to mind, right? First industry to come to mind. Yes, yes.
Also, fast cycle can be like hydration companies, soda companies as well.
What do you say? Solar?
Like soda or like hydration
Soda. Yes.
companies.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Yes. Actually, food market and the whole FMCG and all could be said to be fast cycle, right? Even restaurants and all, they consistently try to come up with uh, like new offerings and all. Yes, yes. Tech, and FMCG generally be said to be fast cycle. What about slow cycle markets? Any examples for slow cycle markets?
Like energy producers, maybe.
Yes.
Commercial rocket.
Rocket, did you say?
Yeah, commercial rocket
Uh,
like what SpaceX do now.
yeah. Heavy technology and
Thinking like probably like furniture, but even that started to get a little bit more,
fast.
yeah,
Yeah.
lately, yeah.
Yes. So in general, I would say that heavy machinery, so like heavy machinery, like farm equipments or furniture and all, they are also heavy, right? And what you said, rockets or even airlines or aircraft industry as well. And yeah, all those are generally slow cycle markets. Innovations don't happen that fast. Uh, you remember Southwest entry, how hard it was for Southwest to enter. So s- yeah, those are all slow cycle markets. Like airline industry is slow or standard, not fast, definitely. Now, standard is between slow and fast, but it's somewhere on the edge of standard or slow cycle. So if you have patents or copyrights or some causal ambiguity, social complexity, then it would be very hard for competitors to enter. Like, for example, Google was enjoying supremacy for the longest time, or even Intel had monopoly for a very long time. Only recently, AMD and NVIDIA have been able to give some competition because of patents and copyrights and also all those things prevent new competitors, new entrants, and keep the market stable for a long time, right? And in fast cycle markets, we will see that firms will often prefer to cannibalize their own sales with new products rather than try to develop loyalty to one particular product. What's the example? So, what was the latest iPhone that was launched?
16, I think.
The 17 just came
Seven.
out.
Wow.
17. You are using 16, Elena, or 15?
Oh, no,
Or
I'm
14?
using 14. My kids are using, what are you using? 16? 15. 15, yes. So we are
Uh,
old.
keep-
We
yeah,
are not
keep kids
moving
away
as
from.
fast as the market.
Yeah, yeah. So, you see, uh, because Apple launched iPhone 17, when you go to an Apple store, even though you may be interested in buying 15 or 16, they would try to convince you to buy 17, right? So they will have competition with their own product. So they will prefer to cannibalize their own sales with new products rather than try to develop loyalty to one particular product because it's a fast cycle market. They will get more revenue, more profit on the latest offering than their old offering. You see what I mean? Right? And by the time you would decide whether you want to buy 17 or not, they would be in the phase of launching 18. And they will try to convince you that wait 2 more months rather than buying 17, buy 18. Right? So that is how fast cycle markets work. Standard cycle is just an extra category in between fast and slow. So this is a visual description how slow cycle markets and fast cycle markets work. So in slow cycle markets, you will see that a new technology or new innovation comes. It becomes I mean slowly people adopt it. It takes some time for people to adopt. Then it remains stagnant. There's no new innovation or offering for a few years, and then somewhere down the line, a new product will come. But in fast cycle, it's very quick, right? So you have very small window to exploit your new offering. You will get only a few months, maybe 1 or 2 years, to maximize the profits from your latest product, because by that time a new product would be launched. So that is how fast cycle markets work, right? So yeah, this was a short chapter. Actually, this whole week, like half of the week, you got holidays, right? So we meet on Tuesday now. On Monday, there would be test. So I think in the quizzes section, yeah, in the quizzes section, I will make a link for the test, which will open at 1. And I can give you the whole 2.5 hours, but I know like uh, most of you would be done within 1 hour. But do not try to cheat. That is what I'm saying. Please, please. I mean, uh, lockdown and responders anyway cut down the possibility of cheating a lot, but you know, people can always find innovative ways. But do not do that because I'm a lenient grader. Will not make, I do not make very tough quizzes, and if there are not many people getting A's and B's and all, I curve as well. Try to make it as interactive as I can. So do not cheat. Do not worry about grades. That is what I'm saying. You know, because if you get caught by chance, just in case, then done. It's over then. I'll report you to the department, and that's very tough. And most of you are seniors. You don't want to ruin your career, so you just want to graduate and leave, right? So please do not try that. And I think it would be. I mean, in the fall semester, it is fall and spring. It's 60 questions, but we are not covering a lot of cases because in fall and spring we cover a few cases by now. So I might reduce the number of questions. I don't know. I'll see how much I want to reduce. Maybe I'll bring it to 50 or 40. I don't know. I'll decide. The
I have
format
a
will
quick
be,
question.
yeah, yes,
Are we allowed a cheat sheet
no,
use during the exam or no
no,
notes or anything?
no, mhm,
Okay.
nothing. I should be able to see your eyes fixated on the screen, right? So yeah, the format will be the same, multiple choice, true or false, and multiple choice. That is why I'm saying it's very easy and quick. So either you know or you don't know. So you move ahead. And that is why most of the people are done in like 20, 30 minutes.
So, Professor, for the cases, we have Southwest, and then
That's it.
that's it. We don't have Trader Joe's.
No, Trader Joe's not this time because I am not covering the slides, right? I'm not uploading the slides by Monday because it's due on Tuesday now, right?
Okay. Yes.
So no Trader Joe's. And I'm not expecting you to cram the whole case, just the slides. That's it.
Thank you.
Mm.
Question, Professor. So,
Yes.
we just have like the lockdown browser and with its camera on, right? Not the Zoom.
Mhm.
No,
No
okay,
Zoom. No
okay.
Zoom.
Professor, same question. Because based on the assignment, there's one more thing you mentioned, the respondus monitor. Like I haven't heard about it before. It's like an app or it's like something.
No, Respondus Monitor just records you. It's just an extra feature within Lockdown browser.
Oh,
So,
so
yeah,
for
so
us, we just need to open lockdown browser and just do the test. That's fine. We don't
yeah,
have to do
that's
like
it.
other.
That's it.
Uh,
It will just record your movements. It should be able to. So, like right now, I'm not able to see your whole face, right? So,
uh,
if it's like that during the test, it will flag that
oh,
the
oh,
person's whole face is
oh,
not
I understand.
visible.
I have already used it before. I understand. All right, thank you.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so your hand movements and your face movements, it will flag, you know.
Okay, makes sense. All right,
Mm,
thank you.
mm. Any more questions?
I missed. How many questions is it going to be?
60 or less than 60? Probably less than 60 because there are 60 questions during fall and spring semester, but that includes more cases. And we have covered only one case till now. So I'll have to remove some of the questions from that. So I will either bring it down to some, round off number like 50 or 40. I don't know. I'll see.
I have a quick question. Do we have to download anything on our computer before the exam? Because you mentioned that we're using a lockdown browser. Like, do we have to do that before?
I don't know actually. Do we have to? Because I haven't used lockdown browser before.
Yeah, you have to download Lockdown browser before so you can open the exam through Lockdown.
Okay.
Yeah, please download it beforehand.
So I guess we have to go straight in lockdown and then go into the quiz, because for some classes you go in the quiz and it will send you into lockdown browser.
No, no. How is it exactly? Those of you who have used, can you please answer her question? I haven't used, so
Yeah, so you just have to open up Lockdown browser, then you have to log into Canvas through your Lockdown browser. It's going to make sure that any other tabs that you have open, it'll close them. Well, it'll ask you if you're ready to close them. You have to close them or Lockdown will not allow you to access the test. And then you sign in through your Canvas, and then when you go to start the exam, it'll do a whole check to make sure that your camera and your microphone are working and you don't have any existing tabs open in the background, and then you'll be able to start the test after that.
Thank you.
so it will ask you to show your ID card as well, Rutgers ID card, like those kind of things. Sometimes like it tries to matches the face, something like that. That the person who is taking the test is the same person who is enrolled in the
I
course.
don't think it asks you for your ID card. Or I've never been asked at least. Because you go through your Canvas anyway. I don't know.
No, because when I set up the quiz, it asked me to tick a box that do you want the student to show his or her ID card or not. So I generally tick. I
Okay.
just I just tick all the boxes. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we have played Kahoots, and if you just go over the slides once or twice properly, like first time you generally skim, second time, I think there's one or two, uh, once or twice you go over the slides, that should be good enough to give you good grades. So it wouldn't be very tough.
Are we making the Kahoot for class on Tuesday?
Uh, which group are you? Group two?
Yeah.
Yes, you are. Yes,
Okay.
you are. Yeah, I'll send you the questions.
All right, thank you.
And Trader Joe's. So yeah, group three and group four are also making slides for Trader Joe's, right? Group three and group four, be
Yeah.
prepared.
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Mhm. Okay, right. You have a good, happy New Year, right? Enjoy the weekend. If you have any questions, you
Happy
can
New
stay.
Year's.
Happy
Oh,
New Year.
Professor,
Thank
I have
you.
a quick question for group one. Can we do the AMC for a company for final project?
Sure, why not?
Okay, yeah, just asking. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I'll give you an idea for the opening slide.
Sure.
You use a WhatsApp status photo as at the movies.
Okay.
I'm just
All
it's up
right,
to you,
thank
whatever
you.
you want.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year, everyone. Bye, Professor.
Bye bye.
Here.